Hi, welcome to What the Flick. Christy, Alonzo, and Matt. We are all tied up in knots to talk to you about 50 Shades Darker, which actually is not darker.
No!
Having read all three of the books, I can tell you that the second book does get darker than this film gets. This film is just silly.
This film is silly. All right, so 50 Shades Darker starts off with Anastasia Steele working at a publishing house, and she gets flowers from Christian Grey, who wants her back. She considers throwing the flowers out, and then she does not. And that, I think, tells you pretty much how this story's going to go. Sure enough, they get back together. Spoiler alert. And she wants a vanilla relationship. He agrees to that. But, you know, it gets pretty kinky pretty quick. Or at least what this movie would have you believe is kinky. And then the end of the movie, lots and lots and lots of unintentional comedy. It's pretty awesome.
I want you back. I'm not very good at this. I've never wanted to try again. Have dinner with me.
Okay, fine. I will have dinner with you. Because I'm hungry. But we are only talking, and that is it.
You know, I gotta say, at least they look like they're liking to fuck this time. Yeah. Like last time, it all felt like it was so posed and such a chore and so like this, like I gotta take the garbage out. Like this, they at least they look like they're enjoying themselves. You know, she's even like, let's be vanilla. Okay, now you can spank me.
Right,
you know,
right.
like there's to that part I appreciated that there wasn't this sort of this fog hanging over the whole thing, but. Who cares about these people? You know, they're just not interesting.
Right, there's this redundancy to the structure of the movie, right? Because they'll have a conversation about their commitment, and then they'll fuck. And then they'll have a conversation about the commitment, and then they'll fuck. And it's like, you can set your watch by it, like, okay, he's gonna take off his shirt again.
I was okay with that.
Yeah, I didn't mind that either. However, there's not a lot of great momentum, and then all of a sudden there's some random ex-girlfriend who shows up, or there's, you know, random boss hits on her or whatever, and it's very episodic without a whole lot of momentum. It is the middle movie of these three movies.
But it is no Empire Strikes Back.
It is not the Godfather 2 of 50 Shades movies. No, it is not. But I will admit that I liked the first one, as you all know, and gave me shit for. I liked the first one. It was glossy and it was well made. We have a different director and we have a different writer.
Yes.
The writer is the author's husband. And so now you have two men making this instead of two women.
I noticed that,
And I feel like Sam Taylor Johnson and
Kelly Marcel.
Yeah, so you did the first movie. I feel like they got the innate absurdity of this whole series, and they had a good time with it in ways that were sharp. Whereas the men just go, fuck it, we're gonna make it the soap, the silly, goofy soap, we're just gonna play with it.
And so by the end of the film, the third act turns into, as I said to you coming out of it, it feels like Soap Dish.
We had so much fun.
Like, if you remember Soap Dish, right? The Kevin Kline and Sally Field movie that spoofs the idea of soaps, that's what this felt like.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really unintentional comedy here.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. And it actually, that kind of almost saved the movie for me.
Because we had a good time at least, right?
We did.
Right.
I mean, I will say the first two acts of this movie, as it's going along, I'm kind of like, okay, look, they're having sex again. Like, and it's fine, but it's just like, okay, come on, it's not that exciting. I think the movie resolves their relationship issues pretty quickly, and so then it's like, well, something has to happen. So let's drag in all these outer things, you know, the handsy boss and the old girlfriend and the woman who introduced him to, you know, the ways of BDSM and blah blah blah.
Robinson, yes.
Yeah, none of which is particularly interesting. And so it's like, oh wait, if this isn't going to be about sexual negotiation, it's just going to be about sex between two people who aren't that interesting. And you know, I said this in my review in the wrap. Part of me wants to give these movies a pass because women are allowed goofy fantasy movies as much as men are. And men get a new superhero movie every month. And I think women deserve at least one okay movie a year that's about, like, you know, career advancement and great clothes and, you know, what the guy in 20th Century Women would refer to as direct clitoral stimulation.
Yeah. He goes down on her a lot.
He's very attentive.
Props to you, Christian Grey.
You know,
she doesn't have to ask. He just does it.
Yeah,
He
but
likes it.
these movies are so banal. banal and so the characters are so sketchy that I just it's irritating.
It's hard to care. Also, it's edited in ways that are unintentionally hilarious. I'm not going to give away the thing that made us all laugh the hardest, but it's because of the way it's cut. The first one was edited also by a woman, the great Anne V. Coates.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
This is a different person who edited this, and there's a weird jumpiness to it to the extent that you leaned over to me.
It's like, are we missing a few pages of the script?
All of a sudden, it just changes, and that serves to provide laughs that I'm not sure, as you would say, we're meant to be there.
Right.
And in the years since the 2 years since the last one, like we've gotten to see Dakota Johnson do other stuff.
Yes, she's good.
She was great hosting Saturday Night Live. How to Be Single was negligible, but she was fine in it. And then these movies just strip her of any personality.
I think.
Yeah.
No, but she has some spark here and there, and there's like a presence to her and some smarts to her that do remind me of her mom, Melanie Griffith, in that there's like a stillness but an intelligent kind of sense of humor to her. You get glimmers of that, but not nearly as much as you would like to see that she has in her. Yeah.
Part of the frustration for me for this movie is that, and the first one I think doesn't do this the same way, but this one, as you mentioned, they resolve their relationship problems. And so what you really, early on, and so what you're really getting is you're watching a healthy couple explore their lives kind of in a healthy, explore their sexuality in a healthy way, right? Great, props to them. That's super boring, right? Like,
unless you're a big Jamie Dornan fan, he looks like he's sleepwalking.
But I mean, they take all the conflict between the two characters, right? I mean, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times in an effective erotic thriller, you've got people having sex who really shouldn't be having sex. It's like, oh, that's a mistake. I shouldn't be sleeping with this person, right? Or it's, whatever people around them don't want them to get together, or it's a romantic comedy or some kind of romance where the question is, will they or won't they get together?
There's a conflict,
There's no stakes. It's like, okay, great, they're together. Her career's on track. He's a 27-year-old billionaire who's gorgeous.
With an underwear model body.
Right, and it's like, okay, so he sets boundaries and she listens to him. Okay, she sets boundaries and he listens to him. Okay, great. Healthy for everybody.
They meet in the middle.
Really happy.
What I was
cares?
reminded of for about 5 minutes in there was Chasing Amy, of all things, because that's a movie about somebody who is relatively sexually inexperienced, who gets into a relationship with somebody who's had a lot more experience, and the inexperienced person feels pressured that he'll never be enough for the other person, even though the other person is saying, no, that's behind me and I want you. You get that a little bit with these two characters here, and then they just you're right, it's all tied up really quickly. And good for them, that's very therapeutic, but it's not good drama.
But it doesn't come up with her inexperience, right? It comes up with, look, like, you want this stuff that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm worried you want it too much. And he keeps saying, no, I don't. And again, that's not that exciting. Like,
the movie never indicates otherwise,
right,
or almost never.
You don't see her, and not that I'm saying a woman should do this, but you don't see her compromising herself. Neither of them are compromising themselves to get to the other one.
They meet in the middle.
At one point,
which she says, take me to the Red Room of Pain.
And again,
right?
But again, like, this is in a weird way, not in a weird way, this shows us a relatively, arguably a relatively healthy sexual exploration and relationship.
Monogamous and safe.
And which is great. Good for them.
And the movie stopped pathologizing him, which the first one does a ton. Like, this one, there's a little bit of talk about his childhood abuse or whatever, but the first movie was so like, you're damaged and that's why you like to spank women,
Right.
And this one's, they step away from that, which I'm really happy about.
But I guess the big question
is... the book explores that more. The book is darker and goes
you mentioned that. How is the book darker? Because this movie is not darker.
So there's some flashbacks at the beginning of this movie that allude to the childhood trauma that he suffered. The book just explores that more and throughout. So you have a better indication of what it is beyond just like, you're fucked up for this reason. It actually tries to understand him perhaps more. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that I read it.
But I guess that's the thing.
It makes an effort.
Okay, so do we go to the movies to watch characters do everything right?
No.
That's the part. Right.
Right.
Like, who cares?
Right.
You want to see people make mistakes and learn from them. And this one, they learned from the mistakes in the first film, and they just go ahead. So
I was trying to think, like, why do I like, not the second one, but the first Sex and the City movie and the Sex and the City TV show more than this, which, I think they're both sort of aimed at a similar demographic. And one thing that Dave pointed out that I hadn't really noticed was that she doesn't spend much time with her female friends in this movie or with any other women. Like she gets the occasional scene with Christian's sister or the friend or whatever, but for the most part, it's all about him all the time. And of course, he has no friends because he's this weirdo.
He's a weirdo. And he's Batman.
He's totally. He wears a mask in this one and everything.
He does wear a mask in this one. And that is maybe like the one thing he does that is wrong. He's very controlling of her still. The worst thing he does is put $24,000 into her bank account. That's the worst thing he does.
Yeah, but then he has her routing number. That's a
Yeah,
heavy
I mean,
degree
it
of
does-
intimacy.
It
you
does
know?
get a little. It does tilt into stalkery territory, but she never really pushes back on it.
She likes
She
it.
never says like, okay, this is tilted into weirdness.
Nope, she likes it. The
Yeah.
first one, she was a little concerned about it, but now it's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so what are your numbers?
It's a 4.5. I mean, it kind of moves along, and I think there are some improvements here based on the first film, but you're right. There were times where I thought, this is not made by women the way the first one was.
I'm saying 5, just because we had a really good time. I'm not going to say what movie poster is in Christian's keep an eye out for a little bizarre Easter egg.
The corporate synergy in there was a little much.
Thank
It
you.
could have been worse. It
Thank
could have
you.
been Minions.
I don't
True.
know
Thank
what
you,
it
NBC
was.
Universal.
It's a weird choice, and every time
very
they cut
weird
back to it, we
choice.
just laughed and laughed. So I'm saying 5. You're saying 4.5. What are you saying?
The unintentional comedy was the only reason I really enjoyed this film. That's not really. It lost my interest until then. So 3.
Okay, so we're saying.
But the
4.
music's good.
Yes, we're saying 4.2. Yeah, I like the song that's playing when Christian is working out in his private gym in the morning. It's
Yeah.
So Lonely by the Police.
Yes.
He's like, I'm so lonely. Anna's still sleeping. So 4.2 is our number. I don't know where it is in the tomato meter. What is it?
12.
Oh, come on, guys. Better than that, sort of.
No, it isn't.
Bye.
Not really, no.